And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Man, we got a lot to discuss. We got a lot to discuss. Well, the first thing I want to get to is what just happened today on the House floor. Now, you remember when President Trump was doing the State of the Union? Oh, wait a minute. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for blessing me by tuning into what I have to share with you today. For those of you that don't know, my name is Will Johnson, and I give all glory to God. I give all glory to God in the name of Jesus. Lord Jesus, thank you so much. Thank you for this day. Thank you for giving me the capability to speak and to fight for your glory, Lord. Lord Jesus, help us and to bless our nation to take us even further. In the name of Jesus. Okay. Now, look. Representative Al Green went onto the floor during the State of the Union and he showed himself. Everyone is aware of it. I mean, everybody's aware of it. Even people outside the country, they're aware of what Al Green did. And he did it because he just doesn't like President Trump. And he was yelling at President Trump saying, can't be cutting Medicare. And President Trump has already said it multiple times. Trump said, I don't know how many times I got to tell you, I'm not cutting it. But Al Green took it upon himself to run out there and to say that President Trump was going to cut it. Not even the case. Not even the case. Well, of course, as a result of that, Al Green put himself in a position to where he's going to get censured. And they took the vote today on the House floor to censor Representative Al Green. And I want to show you, Shannon, you haven't seen this yet, have you? You heard me tell you about it, right, briefly? But you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it.
But
so
it'll be my pleasure to see it.
You got to see this in all its glory. Because you can go ahead and split screen it. Because what took place is, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he says it's been passed, and he does the gavel. The response from the Democrats afterwards. This is the reason why we're talking about it, other than, him being censored should have happened, right? But watch this.
Congressman Green to the well. Oh, there we go. Let's listen in.
To answering present. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. Shh. Will Representative Green present himself to the well? By its adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. What's it? What's it?
You want to let him keep doing this, or it's only fair?
The House will come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The
Oh, my
House has to
goodness.
continue its business.
And if you want to declare a recess, you can do that too. And the lights will go.
Look at him holding up his cane.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness, such victims.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Okay, hold on before you remove it. So look at Al Green. I don't know how well y'all can see Al Green right there, but he's holding up his cane. That's a lot of villains carry canes. Think about it. The villains always carry a cane. And so they're on here singing like he's a victim. And you know what they like? You know what? I haven't heard him say it as of yet, Shannon. But I guarantee that at some point throughout the day, on one of the liberal media outlets, they're going to say what they did to Al Green only represents what this government is all about. Racism. You know that's what they're going to say, right? They're going to say racism. They're not going to talk about the fact how he was showing his backside
I was
at the
just
State
gonna
of the
say
Union.
that.
They're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, they're not going to talk about how this is what happens. There's consequences
Yeah.
when you misbehave.
We don't want
and
to talk about how we
follow
got
the
here.
rules. Right. We don't want to talk about how we got here or that this is appropriate action when you misbehave, because we know that they are not they don't want to follow rules. They don't want to follow the law. They think that they are above it. And it's so pathetic that they actually think that somehow when they rally behind somebody that misbehaves, that somehow makes them look good. You're rallying behind somebody that misbehaved. They disrupted and was not supposed to. They did not follow the proper decorum and etiquette.
No, they didn't.
But this is how they are. And they're doing it across every instance they can on the Capitol, in hearings, everywhere. They're disrupting, and they feel like that this somehow makes them look good. They're acting like activists, not professional people that want to work for the American people. It's really pathetic.
I mean, this is how they got to this point in the first place, by not paying attention to what they were doing. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, it really is. It's absolutely ridiculous that they're acting this way. And none of them, you know what, the Democrats, they should have gone to Representative Al Green and said, you know what, you took it a little too far. You took it a little too far. This is something you shouldn't have done. Right?
They were right there with them planning it.
I know. But see, that's my point. They wanted him to do this. So this is probably what happened. Other than what should have happened, they probably went to him and said, "Look, we need someone to take the fall. We need someone to take one for the team." And he said, "I'll do it." So my question again, what I've been asking this question ever since the State of the Union, and where they were in discussion about censoring him. Because Al Green went on the floor before, said that he was presenting articles of impeachment. How does this work now? Because he can't go on the floor any longer and present stuff. That's the whole point of being censored. That's the reason why Adam Pencil-Neck Schiff got out of the House and went over to the Senate, because he's not censored in the Senate. He's censored in the House. That's the reason why he left. So what can he do? Can he just go out there and just start screaming, "I want to impeach him"? Or are they going to get someone else to do it? Maybe like AOC, or maybe Jasmine Cricket. Maybe they'll get her to go out there and do it. I don't know. But what happens? Like, what can he do and what can he not do now? I really like to know the answer to that. So here are the numbers. We're going to put these up on the screen. Here are the numbers. And can you put up on the screen for me? Here are the numbers for the resolution. And you can see the Republicans said 214 said yes. And you actually had 10 Democrats, Shannon, said 10 of them said, yeah, censor him. Wow.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So the total yay was 224. And a total no was 198. And all of them said no. Now, just imagine if those 10, think about this, the 10 Democrats that voted to censor Representative Al Green, had they voted for in defense of little girls and boys playing in sports with little girls, that would have passed. You know that, Shannon? If these 10, it would have passed.
Yeah. Right.
So how come it's really interesting that these 10 went ahead and went along with the Republicans to censor Al Green for acting like a tyrant, but they didn't vote for helping and protecting young girls and young women.
I mean, could it be showing that they're in trouble again? I mean, does this show that not everybody is falling in line? And they took such a hard line saying, listen, I stop it not having proper decorum.
Maybe so.
They Maybe those people are the ones that are up for re-election. Maybe, I don't know.
That could be too. You know what? It would be nice. I mean, well, actually, all of them are. Just not the Senate. So come 26, every last one of them have to, run for their seat. Every last one of them. And after the State of the Union, I don't know about you, but I've gone online and I've seen nothing but video after video after video after video of Democrats. People who are saying, I'm a Democrat. And they're saying, but you know what? I can't do this anymore. After seeing what the Democrats did last night, not a single time did they stand up and clap. If they were going to stand up and clap for anything, now, all they had to do was stand up and clap for one thing. But they didn't do nothing. Even the young man, he's a boy, he's 13. I'm talking about DJ Daniel. President Trump told his story. And they couldn't stand up for him. I mean, and he's a young black male. Aren't the Democrats saying that they're all for the minorities, all for black people and women? And here's President Trump, which is a white president, if I have to remind you, giving recognition and making an honorary Secret Service agent of this young, I call him a young man because when you listen to him talk, I mean, and all the stuff that he's been through, he had to grow up too fast. He's 13. He has more sense about himself than the Democrats do. And President Trump, here he is being a white president, I'll remind you again, recognizing this young black male. And what did the Democrats do? They did the exact same thing that they did when the Republican Party was first created, because it was the Republican Party that was created so that black people could have representation. And the Democrats hated it then, and they hate it today. And here it is, a white Republican president, President Donald J. Trump, and yes, I brought it up again, recognizing a young black male. And what do the Democrats do? I don't care. I don't care. Shame on Trump for doing this. Shame on Trump. Joe Biden could have done it. The 13 surgeries that he went through, this didn't happen within the last 45 days. You do realize this, right? Some Democrats, they don't realize that. But they actually showed themselves last night, or the night of the President Trump's inauguration, which was Tuesday night. They actually showed themselves. And people, I've never seen anything like it. And I've been hoping for people to wake up and recognize just how bad the Democrat Party truly is. I've been talking about it for years, and a lot of people didn't see it. You would imagine that they would have saw it when they all voted against having boys playing sports with little girls. You would imagine that they would have saw it then. And you would imagine it, but you know what happens? And this is the whole catcher. And I was actually thinking about this when I left the gym this morning. This is the whole catcher. Lean in, because I want y'all to hear this. You leaning in, Shannon?
Lean in.
Listen to this. The reason why a lot of people who are registered Democrats, calling themselves Democrats, finally leaving the Democrat Party is because they actually got to see the people that they're voting for in action. See, in the past, remember when the last time President Trump was in office and he would do his inauguration, he would do his speech to the American people, addressing the American people. What they would do, the algorithms would prevent people from seeing it. They would prevent people that have certain algorithms, the Democrats, so they would never see the State of the Union coming from President Trump because they were blocking it. Remember, the big tech companies even removed President Trump from the social media platforms. So then that way, the people that were in line with the algorithm to see President Trump's content, they wanted to prevent you from seeing it. But now that President Trump is back in office, and President Trump has removed the government element of going out to the big tech companies, USAID and others, from blocking information from people being able to see it, the masses were able to see the State of the Union last night, or Tuesday night. I don't know why I keep saying last night. The days just keep running by. So they were able to see it. So they were able to see the Democrats in their full glory on how they hate this country, how they hate the innocent, how they hate progress. People were able to see it. And as a result of that, you got a lot of Democrats saying, I can no longer support this party. I mean, I've seen videos of people just write down angry. So I can't believe that I was voting for them. I can't believe that this was happening. I mean, not a single time. President Trump came in, and I didn't even see this part, Shannon. When President Trump came into the chamber, the Democrats didn't even stand in. To my understanding, they sat on their hands the entire time.
I mean, that's not surprising.
The entire time.
I mean, they don't respect the presidency because they don't respect America. They respect agendas. They respect ideology. That's what they respect. They love money.
Yeah. And power.
They could care less about the people that sent them there. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they truly don't care. They truly don't care. Okay, and let me share some of the stuff that happened yesterday too that we didn't get a chance to get to, and that's with these sanctuary cities. You know, these sanctuary cities, the mayors of these sanctuary cities had to show up on Capitol Hill and basically explain themselves. Why are you allowing this to happen? Shouldn't this be extended to the governors too? Because the governors are allowing this to happen in their state, sanctuary cities in their state. You know, for example, we had a liberal governor in Dallas, where I'm in Texas, but he since has changed to becoming a Republican because he was just, I can't do it anymore. It's just they've gone too far. But if Dallas was a sanctuary city, I would imagine that not only the mayor, but the governor would have to answer for it, because the governor is not, saying, hey, what are you doing? We can't have these sanctuary cities in our state. So, and the only reason I'm thinking about that, because like in New York with Holcomb. But anyways, I want you to listen to this, because this is what Representative Hagan's. I mean, he just brings it. And he just hammers them. And he's asking them legit questions. And I think even though he sounds like he's coming off harsh, when he's talking to Mayor Adams is like kind of confused on why you asking me certain questions about, do I have legal counsel? And he said, look, I'm not trying to trick you or anything. But out of all of them sitting there, I think Mayor Adams is the only one that's coming to the forefront trying to resolve this issue and say, yeah, this is what's happening. He's been direct with his answers for the most part. He's been direct with his answers because the Democrats are going after him, trying to remove him because he's been direct about what's been going on.
Mr. Chairman, let's clarify for America, Mayor Adams, Mayor Johnson, and Mayor Wu, are you here today under the advice of counsel, and do you have counsel present? Yes or no?
I want to understand the question.
Are you here today under the advice of counsel, and do you have counsel present?
Do have counsel present. I'm here because we were requested to appear.
Did you consult with, did you have counsel prior to your appearance?
Yes, we did.
Thank you. This is not a trap question. We just want to clarify.
Okay.
You're here under the advice of counsel. Do you have counsel present?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Johnson.
Counsel present here because I was invited.
Did you counsel before your trip here?
We do have counsel.
Get
But I was
advice
here.
from your counsel?
Yes.
Okay, then you're under the advice of counsel.
Yes.
Mayor Wu, thank you. To just clarify for America, these mayors are all sanctuary city mayors. But the narrative is no longer comfortable, because 3 months ago, we were at the tail end of 4 years of millions and millions of illegals coming into our country. It was out of control. The only thing that has happened since then is we had an election in November. And now we're not pulling the curtain back. We have ripped the curtain from the rods. We have revealed to America just how fast we could have secured our border if you had an executive that was willing to enforce the law. So now we're paying attention to our municipalities. And every one of them is lawyered up. They've changed their narrative. We got example after example. The mayor of Chicago, we must lead with and live by the promise of Sanctuary City. The mayor of Denver, willing to go to jail in defense of Sanctuary City policy. The list goes on. But the policies of these mayors and our previous president have consequences, real-life consequences. I have a family here today, Mr. Chairman, who lost their beautiful loved one. This young man was killed by an illegal immigrant in Texas that never should have been in our country. He'll never be here to raise his daughter, Anne Marie, to love and cherish and honor and uphold his beautiful wife, Olivia. And you mayors have responsibility, not just to your communities and the citizens you just want to serve, but by extension to the entire republic. And let me clarify, I was a cop for a long time. To honor the jurisdictional authority of another law enforcement agency, you do it every day in your city. Guaranteed, every one of you, if you have an inmate in your city on city charges, and that inmate has a felony warrant from a neighboring county or another county in your state, and that county contacts your city while you have that inmate in detention, and ask you to hold them for them to come pick it up upon release, guaranteed you release that inmate to the county over or to your state police. But you're not doing it for ICE. And
they're not doing it at all, really. And I don't know how, he made a statement saying that these mayors, other than Mayor Adams, I haven't heard him say it, but I know Johnson has mentioned that he's willing to go to jail to help out people that are in the country unlawfully. He's willing to go to jail for criminals. I mean, I'm like, let's go ahead and do it. Let's put him in jail. I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings to see it at all. Well, listen to Boebert. She chimed in as well about the sanctuary cities.
In 2017, Denver passed an ordinance that ensured any city employee who spoke with federal immigration authorities would be fired, among other policies that have led to local and national media outlets to call Denver a sanctuary city. So now let me ask you, would a city employee be fired for communicating with anyone from the EPA?
Right now, Congresswoman, our policy is we don't ask people's status.
Would any city employee be fired for communicating and coordinating, talking with an agent from the EPA, a federal employee?
Not to my knowledge, Congresswoman.
What about Health and Human Services? Would they get fired for talking with someone from Health and Human Services?
And not to my knowledge, Congresswoman.
So they would only be fired for talking to federal law enforcement officers?
No, that's incorrect, Congresswoman.
This is an ordinance
city employees do,
Denver
in fact,
passed in 2017, Mr. Mayor.
our city employees do, in fact, communicate with ICE. We do coordinate on multiple things with ICE. For instance, if there is a violent criminal warrant in the city, we pursue that
we're
warrant
talking
together.
before the warrants, Mr. Mayor. There are issues happening before warrants are issued, and local law enforcement officers are unable to coordinate because there is no warrant. And your ordinance says that a city employee would be fired for communicating with federal law enforcement. So you've been mayor for 600 days. Have you ever called for that ordinance to be repealed?
We are not unable to coordinate with ICE right now. We are in communication with ICE right now.
Only if there is a warrant, but I'm talking prior to the warrant.
We wouldn't have a reason to coordinate.
Because you
prior
don't know
to
if they're
warrant.
illegal, because you are unable to coordinate until there's a warrant. So that's why this ordinance needs to be repealed.
I don't understand how in the world, if you're supposed to be representing and helping your constituents, that you would advocate for people who's already broken the law. I don't understand. I really don't. And of course, The Democrats, they're not hearing it, right? They don't care. They want these people coming into the country. Now, look, Republicans are okay with people coming to the country. President Trump is the main one saying that people are welcome to come to the country. Just come the right way. Come the right way. That's why President Trump is doing this, what is it, like a $5 million? You can come into the country. You basically buy your citizenship, right? $5 million. I mean, I like that idea because if they have $5 million to come into the country, that means they're wealthy people. They're not just coming and mooching off the system. The Democrats, they don't like that idea because they want people dependent on the government. That's what they want. Well, listen to Presley, of course, Presley. They don't care about law and order. They really don't. They want disorder.
It's clear my colleagues across the aisle didn't do their homework because the fears and division they're trying to project onto Boston are really the stuff of Fox News fever dreams. Our city is vibrant, our city is diverse, our city is beautiful. Mayor Wu, immigration is central to the economic success of Boston, is it not?
Absolutely. All of our key industries, whether it's healthcare, life sciences, higher education, financial services, everything that we do depends on immigrant residents and the contributions that they make.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, immigration defines Boston. For generations, our city has been shaped by people who have endured incredible hardships to arrive at our shores seeking a better life. They drove taxis, opened restaurants, studied at our schools, built homes.
Let me stop it really quick. Another thing that they constantly do, they constantly say immigrants. Immigrants. Immigrants are welcome to the country. What the Republicans and President Trump is referring to are not immigrants. We're talking about illegal. They keep leaving out that word. And I think it was on MSDNC that they said, well, we're not going to say the word here. We're not going to say the word illegal here. Like anything illegal is completely fine for those on the left. They're completely fine with everything and anything that is illegal. Well, let me go back to some more of this. Listen to this.
Repaired our roads and bridges, cared for patients, cleaned offices, built businesses, provided essential early education and child care for our babies. There is no doubt immigration is essential to the success of Boston, but there is, in fact, a dark threat looming over this great city. That threat is the racist and xenophobic anti-immigrant policies coming from this Trump White House. Mayor Wu, I've been speaking to principals and educators in Boston at various roundtables and town halls that I've convened, and the stories are heartbreaking. Elementary school children are crying in their teachers' arms, fearful that they're going to lose their parents to cruel and unjust deportation raids. Mayor Wu, last week I met with an esteemed doctor from a local Boston hospital who reported that follow-up appointments in her clinic have seen a 200% spike in no-shows and cancellations. Her assessment, her patients are missing critical care like dialysis, prenatal care, and chemotherapy because of a fear of immigration raids in our hospitals and healthcare settings. Mayor Wu, do you agree with this healthcare provider?
Absolutely. We hear it from our shared constituents. People are afraid, and that is having huge impact on their daily lives when they're just trying to do right and be a good example for their kids as they pursue the American dream.
So here we have a man who thinks he is king, screaming anti-immigrant slurs from the Oval Office, and what it has done to make Boston safer. Nothing, not a thing. But it has traumatized our kids, cost our elders their dialysis, delayed cancer patients' chemotherapy, and struck fear into the heart of hardworking people who not only contribute immensely to our city and our community, but whose labor and contributions are also essential to the very functions of daily life in our great city. The members of this committee would be well served by learning from our esteemed mayor, but a teach-in is not the charge of this committee.
I'm so tired of this. You know
Yeah,
what?
me
When
too.
you use words like, and it's always funny how they care about the children, in this instance, they don't care about the sex trafficking or the human trafficking or the horrible things that they have to do to go through here. They don't care about parents breaking the law. I mean, they're shifting the responsibility of these people being here illegally as if it's the government's fault that they came here illegally. And when they came here illegal, what happens when you break the law? There are consequences. Who's responsible for that? Not ICE, not Americans. It's the fault of those people. If the children suffered because their parents didn't do the right thing, that's not Trump's fault. That's those parents' fault.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they really want to save the children from the threat of ICE coming and getting them, then they have two choices. They could go home, or they could go on the app, which Kristi Noem put out there. She said, listen, if you go to this app, I don't know what it is. I have to look it up again. But she says, if you go to this app, say that you're here and you want to be sent home, and you do it free will, we will let you, we'll help you, we'll take you home, and you will be welcomed back the right way. If they come get you and they deport you, then you can't come back for at least 10 years. So they have choices. The problem is they don't want the choices that they're given.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Hey, let me say thank you to, was it TikToks? Thank you so much for the pills on pill.net. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, let me play this one for you. And of course, just like it's not, if you're talking about the illegal immigration and you're not bringing racism in it, you're not playing the role of a good Democrat. So there has to be some kind of racial element in this, right? Forget about the fact that you broke the law. You know, we're not paying attention to that. There has to be a racial element to all of this. Listen to this. Here's Representative Tlaib. And of course, she's like the main one. Let's bring the racial element into it.
But one of the things that bothers me about all of this is the executive order of rescinding the sensitive locations. Why this is important. They basically want to do immigration enforcement and racial profiling and immigration enforcement that's race-based, because I'm at the Canadian border in Detroit. Do you know the majority of people coming down undocumented is Canadian? But guess what? It's still the brown folks that are overwhelming. ACLU did a study, is overwhelming the ones being targeted, detained, and deported.
Wow. Really? So she's basically saying that most of the people crossing over the border are brown folks. I mean, because you can't tell me that they're not detaining people that happen to be lighter than she is.
That's exactly what she's saying. She's saying that the Canadians are
I know what
coming
she's
across
saying.
Because they're white.
I know what she's saying. They're letting them
stopped.
go. If you're Canadian and you're white, you can just walk into the country, no questions asked, because you're the right complexion. She's an idiot.
And these are the people that don't target white people, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? All of them are the same. This is how the Democrat Party, this is how they are.
It's so disgusting.
It really is disgusting.
And the thing is they haven't learned.
No.
That this
they're not
same
going to either.
rhetoric, these same talking points are what lost them the election.
Yeah. And so let me play this one for you. And I do have, look, now I got to put a disclaimer out here. I do apologize for the enhanced language from this Congresswoman. Okay, I do apologize. I didn't have enough time to go out here and bleep it out. But this is on Capitol Hill. This might, I don't know if this might be, she might be your representative. But I just want to put a disclaimer out here. I do apologize for the enhanced language that she's about to spew out of her filthy mouth. But again, they're all fighting for illegal immigrants. None of this is about tearing apart decent people. If these were actually decent people, why wouldn't they do the decent thing and come in the country the right way? Explain that one to me.
It's total bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They are not making America safer again, and what they are doing is terrorizing immigrant families. That is what they are doing. Parents who are afraid to send their kids to school, parents who are afraid that they won't come home again, kids who are afraid to leave their houses, refugees who have waited for years to come into this country. And our mayors are sitting here enduring this ridiculous hearing.
Oh, it's ridiculous because we don't want the crime to continue to happen. Do the Democrats care about anything that's lawful?
The only
Do
people
they care about anything that's lawful?
The only people making this ridiculous are the Democrats. The only reason why this is happening is once again because we're trying to hold people accountable for breaking federal law.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand.
It's really bizarre.
And you know what? It is bizarre because people
really
are
is.
seeing it. Like
It's
you
really
said,
bizarre.
well, we're seeing it all over social
But
media.
the
where
question-
Democrats are going, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
I can't support this anymore.
The question I have is, these people, they claim to be intelligent. They claim to have all the understanding of everything, and we don't understand, right? We don't understand. And they know what's best for us and everything. You know, this is how they actually think this. They actually believe this.
This is the result of uninformed.
But they're disconnected from
voters.
reality.
Yeah.
They're 100% disconnected from reality. They don't want to acknowledge reality. They think that reality is something that's getting in their way. So they're trying to change what is right and what is wrong. They want to give them reverse roles. Y'all have heard it, right, before in the Bible. What was once considered good is now considered evil. And what was once considered evil is now considered good. The Democrats love everything that is evil. And they're calling it good today. They're actually pushing it as if it is good. They actually are. And they're not even holding it back on. They're not holding back on it at all. They're not even hiding it. They're really not. I have another one I want to share with you, and I do apologize for sharing you this one. Now, I would have to go ahead and say that I don't think there's any enhanced language on this one. And I didn't watch all of it, but I saw enough to like, okay, yeah, I got to share it. And then I'll do some commentary as we go along here. But the next one I got to show you is kind of like it's typical, and you'll see why. But first, let me tell you about this sticker pack. Have y'all seen this? I've talked about it a couple of times briefly during my show. Are you ready to show your support in style? Sticker Mule has a fantastic offer just for you. For a limited time, you can grab a free, yes, I said free, Trump sticker. Yes, free. You heard that right. Whether you're wanting to decorate your laptop, car, or office space, these high-quality, durable stickers are perfect for making a statement. Just imagine how great they'll look. And they're super easy to apply. Here's how it works. Head over to stickerpack.com and sign up and claim your free, I did say it again, free sticker, and watch the fun unfold. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Stocks are limited, so act fast, spread the word, and let your voice be heard with Sticker Mule's awesome stickers. Once again, visit stickerpack.com today and grab your free Trump sticker before they're gone. Before they're gone, go check it out. Go check it out. All right. Let me share this one with you. Now, look, if you have active brain cells and they're not social distancing from one another, this might just trigger you a little bit. It does me a little bit. Watch this.
Mayor Adams, on January 31st of 2025, your attorneys met with federal prosecutors regarding the charges of bribery, campaign finance fraud, and conspiracy against you. Were you aware of this meeting prior to its occurrence?
Congresswoman, as
Microphone, please.
I'm sorry. As I stated to your colleagues, and I'm going to continue to state because we're asking the same question over and over again.
This is a new question.
This case is in front of Judge Ho, and out of deference to
I
our
understand,
criminal justice
Mayor Adams.
process, I'm going to
Mayor Adams,
defer this
as your
to the
counsel,
court.
I'm sure will inform you. The only permissible way to refuse to answer a question during a congressional proceeding such as this is by pleading the Fifth Amendment. Deference to the judge is not a permissible excuse for not answering questions during a congressional hearing. Is it your intention to plead the Fifth today?
Councilwoman, you said the only way that you can't answer a question is to plead the Fifth. I am answering your question. I'm answering your question directly. That
you are.
You know what? Look. I have my reservations about Mayor Adams, but Mayor Adams, they're shoving this red pill down his throat. I mean, they really are. They really are. He tried to work with them because he's a Democrat, right? He's on their side. But a light bulb went off, and he said, "Wait a minute, this we can't do this." You know what? You know what the problem is? He used to be in law enforcement. He used to be a police officer, and he's like, once you're in that police, I've never been in a police force, but I've talked to enough police officers to say once you're in that police force, you always have that instinct. There's always that thing in the back of your mind, and like, this is not right. This is something going on, because you're dealing with crazies all the time. And she's basically at him because he's woken up, and he's been working with Holman about the illegal immigration problem. He's been working with him. They don't like the fact that he's working with them. And of course, AOC, being from New York, she's taking it personal. But he's answering the question. He is answering the question.
The only way that you can't answer a question is to plead the fifth. I am answering your question. I'm answering your question directly. That
You are not, Mayor Adams.
Okay, I believe I am.
I will ask it again. Were you aware of the meeting between your attorneys and federal prosecutors on January 31st? Answering this question is a yes or a no.
And I'm going to answer it again. Out of deference to Judge Holt with this case.
That is not an answer, Mayor Adams.
He is going to deal with the outcome of the case.
Mayor Adams, is it your intention to not comply with these questions?
As I stated, I'm answering your questions, and what you're doing, let's be clear on, you're asking me about communications between my attorney and I. And I don't think that is appropriate to be asking a question between my attorney and I, because we are in a country of law and order.
I understand.
And your
So, Mayor
relationship
Adams,
and
who
communications
is
with
your
your attorney should be respected.
Who is your attorney?
Alex Spiro.
Alex Spiro, thank you. Now, Mayor Adams, have your attorneys ever met with city officials? That is not covered. I'm not asking about your conversations with your attorneys. Have your attorneys met with city officials, New York City officials?
Any communication or activity between my attorney
yes or
and I
no?
is
Have
up to
your
our attorney and I.
personal
You can reach out
attorneys
to,
met with New York City officials?
Alex Spiro, my attorney, to deal with those communications.
Mayor Adams, in this meeting, did anyone representing you, including perhaps Mr. Spiro, agree or allude to any arrangement with the Trump administration that would involve changing city policies?
I mean, yeah, you know what? You're right, Shannon. This has nothing to do with the sanctuary cities and about what we can do to get rid of these sanctuary cities, because they're not benefiting the American people. They're not doing anything. They created the sanctuary cities when President Trump was in office the first time to undermine his efforts on protecting the American people. The Democrats created the sanctuary city saying, you know what, we don't care what Trump is saying. We're going to create a sanctuary for criminals to come to our city to do whatever crime that they want to fight against Trump.
And the thing
That's
is,
what all this is really about.
Yeah, and we all know that who are the Democrats going after? They're going after Adams, right? You got Hochul going after him. You got all these Democrats going after him, and that's one you choose to pick on. Come on, you can't tell me that they're not weaponizing it, right?
That's exactly what they're doing.
She's not even protecting him over the sanctuary city thing.
No,
I mean, she's like, "Oh, you're our enemy because you've sided with Trump on certain things."
Yeah,
because Trump has eliminated the case against you, or has asked them to eliminate the case against him. We're going after you.
That's what this is. They're going after him because he's willing to work with Holman, and he's willing to do the right thing. Well, let's listen to the rest of this. There's only a few seconds left.
Mayor Adams, in this meeting, did anyone representing you, including perhaps Mr. Spiro, agree or allude to any arrangement with the Trump administration that would involve changing city policies in exchange to reconsideration of the charges brought against you?
You say in this meeting? Can you be clear?
In the January 31st meeting.
Again, there was never any agreement, never any quid pro quo.
That's not what I'm asking.
Nothing wrong. Never any agreement.
That's exactly what she's trying to get to. That's what she's trying to get him in a quid pro quo.
She's like, don't steal my thunder. Don't steal my thunder.
Yeah. That's not what I'm asking you, but that's exactly what she's asking.
never any quid pro quo.
Was there an
and
allusion to a
nothing
shift
that
in
I've
New York
done
City
wrong.
policy?
Gentlelady's time's expired. And I just want to remind her, Mayor Adams is here voluntarily, and we appreciate that. The topic of the hearing is about our illegal alien problem and the drain on the cities and what the solution is. So, Chair now recognize Mr. McGuire from Virginia.
You know what?
Just dismissed AOC like she didn't even matter. That's what he just did.
I mean, because she's asking questions that's irrelevant to what's going on.
That's what they do.
Yeah, it has nothing to do
They
with
constantly
Sanctuary
deflect and attack, deflect and attack,
Nothing to
deflect
do
and
with
attack. What is their great game plan to fix the issue that, by the way, was one of the #1 issues that got Trump elected? Illegal immigration.
Yeah,
not
because of the border.
migration,
And-
not migrants.
Yeah, and you know
not
what?
refugees.
They
We're
had
talking about illegal immigration.
They had every opportunity the past 4 years. They had every opportunity to just make it look like they're doing the right thing. You know, have the facade, but they didn't do that. They refused to do it. So they did it to themselves, not understanding that people are paying attention. See, they believe that they can just do whatever and people won't even recognize what's going on. They won't. Okay, I want to change it up. I want to talk about something else that's kind of, when President Trump went back into office, one of the first things that I recognized what President Trump was doing, he was doing stuff on a biblical scale. What do I mean by that? President Trump is shaking up the world. Remember the last time President Trump was in office, he was shaking up the world. He was nominated for 7 Nobel Peace Prizes for the Abraham Accords, his dealings in the Middle East, because he was bringing peace. President Trump went to North Korea. The first time a sitting American president ever went to North Korea, set foot in North Korea. First time. President Trump went to Saudi Arabia. They welcomed him with open arms. He went to Israel. They welcomed him with open arms. President Trump was going all around the world. They were welcoming him with open arms. Even, I remember there was this mural that they had on the streets, and I believe it was in Iran, where they had a mural of the American flag and the Israeli flag. But when President Trump was in office and he was like not doing this extra stuff what the global elitists want him to do, the people there, they were not walking on the Israeli American flag. They were walking around it because they were showing respect for President Trump. President Trump was making headways around the world. He told the United Nations that we will never become part of a socialist government. He said it. The United States of America will never be a socialist nation. He said it. He couldn't even leave the United Nations that day before Nancy Pelosi went behind the podium and said, okay, now we're going to impeach him. And everyone said, oh, they tried to impeach him over Ukraine. No, see, people only see what they want to see, and they're only seeing what the liberals are telling them, but it was something bigger. And now that President Trump is back in office, that thing, what I was trying to convey to people again, President Trump is on track for doing it again. And it's not anything negative, it's positive what he's doing. President Trump is getting the United States of America away from this globalist agenda, and they can't stand it. Before we came on there, I was talking to my producer, and she was looking at this information, which is really huge news. And I figured that we need to give the remaining time and talk about this, Shannon. Because what President Trump is doing, you know, President Trump, he's disconnecting from the WHO. He's disconnecting us from the TPP, Paris Climate Agreement. He's disconnecting us, and it sounds like, and it looks like he's about to disconnect us from NATO, because NATO is a version of a one world order. Have y'all heard about that before? You ever heard of that expression before? The Democrats say, oh, it's a conspiracy. It doesn't exist. They constantly said it doesn't exist. But now, even when Joe Biden was there, he went overseas and said, we have the opportunity to have a liberal world order. And he was saying that the United States of America needs to lead the charge on that. He said it. He said it. Came out of the donkey's mouth. And President Trump is like, you know what? No, we don't need to be a part of that. So then what's actually happening, there is 2 fractions of a world order that's trying to take place. You have Russia, China, Venezuela, Iran, some other nations. They have their version of this one world order. Even Putin has talked about it. Putin has even mentioned it. And then you have NATO. They have their version of a one world order. And see, they want to come across like they are the good guys. And now that President Trump allegedly is threatening to remove the United States of America from NATO, you have Macron starting to act up. And one of the statements that I said about President Trump, what he's doing, because look, like in the Gaza Strip, he's saying, you know, we'll just take Gaza. We'll bring the peace there, right? And how he's wanting to get, he doesn't want to have any involvement in the war in Ukraine. Personally, I think President Trump just should sever the ties, because I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, Zelensky did another video saying that he's not, because he agreed to come back to the table and work with President Trump. And then he put out another video saying, nope, not going to do the deal. At least this was the video. Now, look, just to be transparent here, I can't verify if the video was done before he went to the Oval Office his last time, or if it is actually when he just put out a day or so ago. But I suspect, nonetheless, that Zelensky will not agree to anything that President Trump wants to do. And the main reason why is because his communication with the deep state / shadow government here in the United States of America, and of course the elitists around the world. They're telling Zelensky, do not do a deal with Trump, because if you do a deal with Trump, Russia might as well go ahead and just take your nation. It's not our problem. I'm sorry. We got our own problems over here. We need to address them now. If we want to send some Band-Aids and stuff, I mean, I'm all for that. But we have our own problems. We don't need to get into conflict with a country or another country that is not pertaining to us. But Will Johnson, you got to stop Putin before he goes to Ukraine. It has nothing to do with us. If you don't stop Putin from going to Ukraine, he's going to come into European countries. That's their problem. I hate that. I'm not being insensitive here, but that's their problem. They had every opportunity the past 3 years. They had every opportunity the past 3 years for them to rise to the occasion to bring the war to an end. But they didn't want it to end, especially because the United States of America was forking over all the money. The United States of America kept the war going, kept it going. Well, listen to this. This was on a Russian television, and they're actually talking about now that President Trump already got it. But they're saying President Trump, he understands what actually started this war. And it's not that physically, because now, to be clear, transparency here, Russia did go in physically. They went in first, physically, that we know of, right? That's what's been reported, and I agree to that. But what actually started it is that they were trying to push Ukraine to become part of NATO. And Putin kept saying it over and over and over and over again. If you do this, you're going to cause us to invade. And they did it, and they said, well, we're going to do it to see if you're actually going to do it. And he did it. So you have Kamala Harris. She was over there a week before Putin went in. And you have Joe Biden and the Democrat, the administration. None of them will take responsibility for their actions for it leading up to a war. None of them will. Well, listen to this. This was on Russian television, and it was translated. Listen
about
to this.
the NATO expansion, and now President Trump and his team clearly understand that this was the root cause of the conflict, and this is openly stated. While the Europeans, who for some reason decided that the United States has betrayed their interests, and now the Europeans simply prefer to ignore the root causes and the topic of NATO, and instead they are trying to create new coalitions within NATO, and essentially they're creating fighting forces within NATO to be deployed in the territory.
You see that? Well, you know, so, man, I think Macron, and Shannon, do you have any of those articles that you were showing me earlier? Just really quick.
Yeah, I
Macron,
do.
just let's just talk about that one right there, because there's a lot to this, but I just want people to know what Emmanuel Macron was saying. I want people to know what he had to say about all this. Do you have it?
Yeah, you want me to read it?
Put it up
or-
on the screen.
Yeah, it says EU leaders meet for emergency summit on defense and Ukraine aid amid waning U.S. support. And let me get to what you want me to read.
Yeah, because I think people need to be aware of what's going on because, see, they're really concerned that President Trump is actually going to pull the United States of America out of NATO. Because what does this do for Europe? Europe is not going to be happy, right? Because we've pretty much been footing the bill. We've been footing the bill on all of this. And President Trump saying, no, we're not going to do this any longer. And then they have the nerve to be like, how dare you do this, President Trump? How dare you do this? So I'm just kind of curious. Do you think that the Supreme Court, who just ruled in favor of the Democrats about sending $2 billion out to aid, do you think that they possibly will side with the Democrats again and say, nope, President Trump, you can't do this. We need to go to war?
So the big story is that the people in the United Nations, they're all saying that they're going to ramp up their defense systems. But this morning, it says in this article, 27 nation bloc woke up to news that French President Macron would confer with EU leaders about possibly, listening to this, using France's nuclear deterrent to protect the continent from Russian threats. So
read that last sentence again, just in case you didn't hear it correctly. This is the actual statement from Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah,
correct?
he said,
Listen.
yep, in his statement last night that he would confer with the EU leaders about the possibility of using France's nuclear deterrent to protect the continent from Russian threats.
So
I can't make it bigger, unfortunately, because it doesn't
fine.
it acts funny. But yeah, so now it looks like literally what's happening is the EU is positioning itself to go to war without the United States. They're afraid that the United States is going to pull out of NATO, that they will no longer, because if you recall, the United States is really the biggest military in the NATO nations. We're the ones that support it monetarily and everything else, which has led to them not funding their military, and now they're saying we're going to ramp up on buying tanks, we're going to artillery. They're saying that they're going to ramp up their military because Trump looks like he's going to pull away from them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you read everything that's going on over there. They are really panicking. And and there's other countries, though, that are saying that if Trump pulls out of NATO, they're pulling out of NATO, too.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is interesting. With all these other nations saying that, you know what? If because what would be the point? I mean, the biggest contributor pulling out of this organization that they call NATO. And what would be the point? And I believe with President Trump, if he actually does say, okay, you know what, we're gonna disassociate ourselves from NATO, I can see Emmanuel Macron and these other rogue nations, and I'm calling them that, could possibly try to start World War III for that very reason alone. Because there's this is the only we don't have a choice. And you know what? And let's just say we have conflict. Even if the United States of America, Trump pulls us out of NATO, and let's just say Europe and Russia and they're having conflict. They're going to blame Trump. They're going to say this is Trump's fault because he pulled out of NATO, because he didn't want to continue pouring money into NATO. They're not doing right by us. I mean, how do you continue to have a friend and the friend is not doing right by you? That's shame on you. That's shame on you. If you don't ever say anything, and then when you do say something and they go, okay, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, we're going to do better. And then they turn around and they don't do better and they continue to do the same thing because you have people like Joe Biden to allow them to abuse us. And here come President Trump saying, you had your chance. You had your chance. And I'm looking forward to President Trump dropping out of NATO. I really am. Because they're not, just like, to give you another example, just like what's happening with Canada and Mexico with the whole tariff wars. Good for President Trump. President Trump told him, hey, look, if you're not going to do right by us, we don't have any choice. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you haven't already, can you please bless me by hitting the thumbs up? please hit the thumbs up and share this video. And don't forget, you can always go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, and you can support me on that there as well. And let me say, Hemi Lou, I think I'm saying it, Hemi Lou, thank you so much for the pills on pill.net. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
and tomorrow's phone call Friday. So
yep, tomorrow, open up the phone call. So if y'all want to holler at me and, talk about what's happened over the week, by all means, we'll put the phone number up so you can give me a call. Other than that, God bless you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.